Hey guys, due to map testing, we're not going to be able to talk about this in class on block day, so I'm going to have you watch this video to prepare you to do the reading and questions that I'm asking you to do by Friday. That way we can launch straight into the book and get going a little bit quicker on Friday. So our new unit, we are going to be reading the book Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. This man right here, Chinua Achebe, was a Nigerian man. He passed away a few years ago, and he was a prolific writer and inevitably became like a speaker and professor and everything like that. So to fully appreciate our new novel, you have to understand where it came from and why. To do so, you need to get to know two authors, Chinua Achebe, who I just introduced you to. He wrote Things Fall Apart in 1958, and Joseph Conrad, who wrote a book called Heart of Darkness in 1899. The seniors just finished reading Heart of Darkness. Okay, so how are these two things connected? Joseph Conrad, the man who wrote Heart of Darkness, was a European man who served as a merchant marine from 1874 to 1894. This means he worked on ships that collect, buy, and sell goods around the world. One of his assignments was to sail up the Congo River, which flows into the Atlantic on the west side of Africa. Okay, so he was going to sail from here, like out in the ocean, up the Congo into the heart of Africa. Okay, this is the Congo River. Okay, this trip inspired him to write a novella, a short novel, a short book called Heart of Darkness. Even though the book is fictional, Europeans and the West seized on it as a true portrait of Africa and Africans, okay? So during this time, we learned this. Africa was being colonized by various European countries. Y'all got to remember, this was the 1800s. There wasn't like Twitter and Google. People didn't know what existed in Africa. People didn't know what the land looked like. People didn't know what the rivers looked like, what the people were like. People just didn't know, okay? So all of this was being discovered and kind of shared out among Europe and of course into America as well. And so really these depictions of Africa from these Europeans, what they were seeing as they were exploring, colonizing, whatever you want to say, Africa, those stories are the only thing people had to go on, all right? So if you described it in a certain way, that is what people would start to think of it as, all right? So you are going to read an excerpt from an essay called An Image of Africa, Racism in Conrad's Heart of Darkness. This was written by Chinua Achebe, I want to say like in the 80s. And it is basically Achebe commenting on Heart of Darkness, this book that became wildly popular after Joseph Conrad published it, and identifying aspects of Conrad's writing that painted a negative image of Africa and Africans, okay? So you're going to be reading excerpts of it, and I need you to remember that Chinua Achebe is writing it, okay? The Nigerian writer is writing it about Joseph Conrad's book. In a lot of excerpts from Heart of Darkness, he's going to like reprint them and comment on them. So you're going to kind of be going back and forth. So make sure to track along with that. Just read it, answer the questions. We will review it in class on Friday, and then we will move forward into starting Things Fall Apart. Okay, that's it. Let me know if you have any questions.